Welcome to the Health Headliner podcast by Tudu Digital. Our content is informational only and not medical advice. Please consult your provider. Now, let's dive into today's headlines.
Fasting. It's everywhere right now, isn't it?
It really is. Hard to miss.
You see it on social media, wellness gurus, articles talking about all the benefits. And, maybe your friends are doing it. Maybe you've even tried it yourself.
Sure. People try it for weight loss, maybe energy, just general health.
Exactly. But what if fasting doesn't, work the same for everyone? What if those big benefits we hear about aren't quite so universal or depend on, say, your body type?
That's a key question.
Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take sources, could be research papers, articles, our own notes, and really pull out the key insights for you, get you informed fast.
And today, we've got some really fresh research. Hot off the press, you could say.
Yeah, from the University of British Columbia, Okanagan. It's a scientific paper in iScience. And there's a related health news piece, too, both just out, August 2025.
Brand new findings.
So our mission today, we're going to unpack this. We want to explore this really fascinating new finding about how a 48-hour fast hits your metabolism and your immune system differently.
And specifically, how it differs depending on whether someone has obesity or is lean.
Right. We'll look at the what, the how, and really the big one. What does this actually mean for you?
Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's pull back the curtain a bit. This wasn't just like watching people skip lunch. This was a proper scientific study, controlled conditions.
Absolutely. Very rigorous.
So what were these researchers, Dr. Islam, Dr. Newdorf, Professor Little, what were they really trying to figure out here? What was the core question?
Well, what's so interesting is they set out to directly compare these immunometabolic responses, that's the metabolism and immune system reacting together, to a 48-hour fast. They wanted to see, point blank, are the changes different between people living with obesity and people who have a lean body mass?
Which straight away makes you think about personalized health, doesn't it?
Exactly. Challenges that one-size-fits-all idea about dieting.
So how do they actually do it? How do you track something like that inside the body during a fast? What was the setup?
Okay, so they recruited 32 people, split them right down the middle. 16 individuals with lean body mass index and 16 individuals living with obesity.
Matched groups.
Yes, and importantly, equal numbers of men and women in each group. Then, everyone did the same thing. A full 48-hour fast.
Wow. Okay, not just skipping breakfast then. 2 whole days.
No, this was the real deal.
Yeah.
A complete fast for 2 days.
That's quite something for the participants. So while they were fasting, what were the researchers actually looking at, measuring?
They took blood samples. Crucially, at different times right before the fast started, then again after 24 hours, and then at the end after 48 hours.
Okay, tracking the changes over time.
Precisely. And from that blood, they looked at a whole array of things. Hormones, different metabolic compounds, the stuff your body uses for energy.
Right.
They measured the overall metabolic rate. And critically, they looked at inflammation markers and really zoomed in on the activity of T cells.
T cells. Remind us quickly, those are immune cells, right? Important ones.
Yes, exactly. White blood cells. They're absolutely vital. They fight infections. They manage inflammation. Super important players in the immune system.
Got it.
And they didn't just count them. They actually isolated these T cells to study their internal workings, how they were generating energy during the fast.
Wow, that's drilling down deep. Now, was there anything important about the groups before they even started? Any baseline differences?
There was one thing they noted. The groups were matched really well for physical activity, and nobody had major metabolic or inflammatory diseases. But the group with obesity was, on average, a bit older, about 38 years old compared to 27 in the lean group.
Okay, an age difference. Did that affect things?
Well, the researchers definitely considered it in their analysis, but the results strongly pointed towards obesity itself being the main driver of the differences they saw in the fast response, not just the age.
Right. So, okay, they did all this, the meticulous measurements, the 2 groups, the 48-hour fast. What did they actually find? Was the effect really different?
It really was.
Yeah.
Now, some things were similar. Both groups lost about the same amount of weight, around 3% of their body mass.
Okay.
And as you'd expect when you stop eating carbs, both groups started burning more fat. That's normal for fasting.
Makes sense.
But a really big difference popped up in how their bodies made and used ketones, especially one called beta-hydroxybutyrate, BHB.
Ketones. The things people talk about with keto diets. So the study said the group with obesity had a, quote, significantly blunted ketogenic response. What does blunted actually mean here? Why is that important?
Blunted basically means it was much less strong, less effective. Think of it like this. In the lean group, after 48 hours, their blood ketone levels of the BHB were quite high, around 3.7 millimolar, let's say.
Okay.
That seems to be sort of a threshold. It signals the body, especially immune cells, okay, switch to fat-burning mode efficiently, like flipping a switch.
Gotcha. And the group with obesity.
Their levels were less than half that, only about 1.9 millimolar. It's like the switch wasn't flipping properly, the signal wasn't as strong, or the system wasn't responding as well.
So they were producing ketones, but just not nearly as much.
Exactly. And this wasn't just for BHB. It affected other related ketone compounds too, and even how ketones signal things inside the cells by modifying proteins. So like the messages were getting muffled.
So it's not just about being in ketosis, it's about the level and how well the body uses it. Were there other metabolic signs pointing this way too?
Yes, definitely. The group with obesity also didn't see their blood sugar drop as much during the fast.
Interesting.
And their insulin levels stayed higher throughout the whole 48 hours, even with no food coming in.
Which suggests insulin resistance still hanging around.
It'd strongly suggest a resistance to those typical metabolic shifts you see in lean people during a fast. And remember those T cells?
Yeah, the immune cells.
Well, in the lean group, their T cells adapted. They ramped up their ability to burn fat for fuel. But in the group with obesity, their T cells didn't really do that. They kind of stayed stuck in a less efficient state, less able to use fat well.
Wow. Okay, so the metabolism side is clearly different. What about the immune system itself? We often hear obesity is linked to inflammation. Did the fast help cool that down for everyone?
That's a huge part of this. So the study found that even before the fast, the individuals with obesity had more of certain T cells that promote inflammation. Like their immune system was already running a bit hotter, you could say.
Right, a pro-inflammatory state.
Exactly. And even after 48 hours of fasting, those inflammatory signals didn't really quiet down as much. In the lean group, there was a subtle but clear shift towards a more balanced anti-inflammatory state. That shift was much weaker, almost absent, in the group with obesity.
So the fast didn't give their immune system the same calm down signal.
It seems not. It appeared to stay in that more heightened pro-inflammatory condition.
And you mentioned something about white blood cell counts changing differently, too.
Yeah, that was quite revealing. In the lean group, the total white blood cell count went up at 24 hours, then came back down to baseline by 48 hours. Sort of a quick response and recovery.
Okay, like an adaptation.
Right. But in the group with obesity, the count was lowest at 24 hours, and then it actually peaked at the 48-hour mark. And other immune cells, lymphocytes, also showed different timing patterns between the groups.
So different dynamics entirely.
Yes. These subtle timing differences suggest the immune system is coping or adapting, or maybe even being stressed by the fast in very different ways depending on your baseline body composition. The lean group seemed more resilient, maybe. The obese group's response looked more prolonged or perhaps strained.
Okay, this is a lot of really detailed biological stuff. Let's try and bring it back to the listener. What's the main message here? If someone's thinking about fasting for health, what does this mean for them?
I think the core takeaway, the really big message, is this. Fasting can be beneficial. It can shift metabolism, potentially help the immune system, but if obesity is present, those benefits seem to be significantly reduced or changed. It looks like obesity itself can sort of dampen the body's ability to adapt well to fasting, especially that switch to using ketones effectively and calming down inflammation.
Can you connect the dots a bit more on why that ketone level difference is so important? You mentioned a threshold.
Yeah, it seems fundamental. That higher level of BHB, around 3.7 millimolar that the lean group reached, it looked like that's enough to really signal those T cells, the immune cells, to switch gears, to start burning ketones efficiently for fuel.
Right, adapting to low glucose.
Exactly. Maintaining their function, becoming more adaptable. But the group with obesity, only hitting about 1.9 millimolar, that might just be too low to trigger that switch effectively.
So their T cells are left struggling a bit.
Potentially. It could explain why their T cells didn't boost their fat-burning capacity. The cellular machinery just isn't getting the right signal, or maybe the right fuel, to make that efficient metabolic change. This could keep inflammation higher and energy use less optimal.
So it really hammers home that fasting isn't this one-size-fits-all magic bullet that maybe some headlines suggest.
Precisely. It's much more nuanced. This study is clear evidence that even a relatively short fast, just 2 days, has very different physiological effects depending on body type.
Right.
That resistance to adaptation in individuals with obesity strongly suggests that fasting might not deliver the same therapeutic punch for them, or at least not in the same way, not to the same degree. It really highlights why we need more personalized approaches.
Now, every study has its limits, right?
Yeah.
What were some of the boundaries here? Things this study didn't look at.
Good point. It was very informative, but it mainly looked at T cells floating around in the blood. It didn't directly sample T cells from inside, say, fat tissue or the liver, where a lot of the metabolic action and disease processes happen.
Ah, okay, so mostly blood-based.
Yes. And also, for practical reasons, they looked at the whole population of T cells together, not drilling down into every single specific subtype, although they did look at some key ones.
Right.
But the researchers do point out that blood T cells usually reflect what's happening in tissues reasonably well, and the overall mix of T cells stayed pretty stable during the fast. So they feel the findings are still quite robust.
And the age difference we mentioned.
Yes, that's acknowledged as a limitation too. But again, the patterns they saw lined up so strongly with obesity status, that seems the most likely primary factor.
Okay. So given these findings and the limitations, where does the research go next? What are the big questions now?
This really opens the door for more investigation. We absolutely need to explore these different responses further. The big challenge now is figuring out how fasting could be tailored.
Tailored? How so?
Like, does the duration need to be different? Does it need to be combined with other things, exercise, specific nutrients maybe, to get the desired benefits in people with obesity? We need to understand the mechanisms much better to make it a truly effective tool for different people.
Right, figuring out how to unlock those benefits for more individuals.
Exactly. More research into the cellular details, and definitely longer-term studies are needed.
This whole deep dive really shows that path to wellness, it's not a straight road, is it?
Not at all.
What works wonders for one person might just not work the same for someone else. It's fascinating how science keeps giving us these more nuanced pictures of our own bodies.
It really underscores the complexity.
So maybe the next time you hear about a hot new diet trend like fasting, it's worth pausing and asking, does this actually consider that people are different? Different physiology, different body compositions?
That's the critical question.
Because this research is a powerful reminder, isn't it? That personalized health, personalized nutrition, it's not just a nice-to-have luxury. It might actually be essential to get the best results, to really unlock the potential of things like fasting for everyone.
Couldn't agree more. We need that personalized lens.
Well, thank you for joining us on the Deep Dive today. We really hope this conversation has given you a clearer, maybe more critical perspective on fasting and just how complex its effects can be.
Hope it was useful food for thought.
Absolutely. Stay curious, everyone, and keep looking for those aha moments in the science.
Thanks for tuning in to the Health Headliner podcast by To Do Digital. Like and subscribe for more health news and breakthroughs. Stay healthy and informed. See you next time.